The opening lesson is a typical modern dance tune, the Camel Hop. We're playing it as a tribute to camels in the Camel Caravan.
Well, hop to it, Pop.
Thank you for calling the Hungry Hut, home of the Two-Faced Hero. What can I get you?
I like a sandwich.
Okay, well, we have a...
Because I can't cook. I burn my pizza. I burn my life.
Okay, well, today we have 2 subs for the price of 1.
Good. I need all the heroes I can get.
What would you like on your sandwiches, sir? Sir, what would you...
Everything!
Howdy folks, today I'm going to be reviewing Luthen Rael from the Star Wars Andor TV series. I want to start this off with a quick look at some of the other figures that are coming down the pipeline for future reviews, which are of course from the Andor/Rogue One series. The ones that we're looking at back here are the ones I've taken out of the box so far. I still have several more to pull out of their boxes, and we'll be getting all of those one at a time eventually. Also, I want to do a review of this guy as soon as I can. This is Cassian Andor in a TIE Fighter pilot disguise. Apparently in Season 2 he steals his TIE Fighter prototype, so if you've seen the trailer, that's no spoiler, it's all over that trailer, so that's going to be a big action set piece for sure. I just got this in the mail a couple of days ago, it's a great looking figure design, and I'm looking forward to reviewing it soon. But back to the main topic, the thing I want to say about Luthen Rael is, he quickly became one of my favorite characters in Star Wars lore. The dude is a spy master, he's an agent provocateur, he's ruthless, he's completely unsympathetic even to his allies. I mean, he's a really well-drawn character and very well acted by Stellan Skarsgard. He doesn't actually have that much screen time in the first season, but it's always hugely impactful. He spends a lot of his time bullying, lying to, and outright blackmailing his own allies. He's basically an anti-hero who was a major force in pushing the galaxy's resistance to imperialism into full-out rebellion. So Luthen Rael is kind of one of those unspoken characters who had a significant impact on the rebellion against the Empire by working in the background. As far as I can tell with regard to Star Wars lore, it seems like his efforts weren't really known and wasn't recorded or understood for posterity, so he's more or less lost to history. He's obviously the antithesis of his stereotypical action hero type, and it goes to show that oftentimes the most interesting characters are the ones who are very well drawn out. Getting on to figure specifics, he has an amazing head sculpt. This is one of the best that I've seen in the Black Series line. He really looks like a Stellan Skarsgard mini-me. It's really incredible. The only thing that they whiffed on was the hair color. It looks like it was painted with a base white coat, then they brushed in a light tan texture overlay. It just sort of has a skunk look to it, and it doesn't really match his hair color that well. To be clear, this kind of stuff really is a matter of how you're viewing at it. What I mean is, if he's on a shelf and you're looking at him from 5 feet away, the coloring does appear to blend together more naturally, but when you're looking at him up close, the illusion falls apart. The problem for figures like this is they're so finely detailed that there's a lot of fine texture that you won't notice unless you're looking at it real close. So there's usually a lot of fine detail with cloth texture, paint applications, and that kind of thing. So basically the hair coloring aesthetic doesn't hold up to close scrutiny. But beyond that, the likeness of this dude is absolutely impeccable. Another interesting thing to note is this figure is heavy. This is a solid plastic piece. Of course, this figure's based on a real person, and it's definitely scaled accurately. So putting him next to an average height character, he's definitely taller, about a half a head taller than Cassian Andor. The real-life guy Stellan Skarsgard is a pretty big dude. He's well over 6 foot tall, so what that translates to is, without hollow plastic parts, is noticeably heavier. Without question, the heaviest figure to a significant margin that I've taken out of the box so far. Touching on more details, this trench coat looks amazing. There's always that trade-off between whether you're using plastic or cloth, and it goes without saying that this rubbery type plastic works a lot better for a figure that's always going to be standing, which is true to the character on the show. When he's wearing this trench coat, he's on a mission moving from one place to another, and not at a desk or a social environment or whatever. In this case, sculpted plastic makes a lot more sense, and the payoff is far better for texture and detail. It has a woven hem, finely detailed stitching, pockets, and collar, and there's a bit of trickery that had to be done to make this figure work. The actual coat is a separate piece that could technically be taken off the figure, though I'm not going to try to do that. The sleeves are visually part of the coat, but of course the arms are all hard plastic. It's sculpted to look like a sleeve of the trench coat. It blends really well and the coloring is identical. As far as other details, he has plain workman type clothes, and this might be the first Star Wars character that I'm aware of that actually wears suspenders. He has a belt, pants with nice cloth texture, and really detailed boots with straps and buckles. So fingerless gloves are a bit of an odd trend in Star Wars lore. As far as the trench coat, another thing I'll point out is the color doesn't quite match the character on the show. I went back and rewatched it, and surprisingly, the one he wears on the show is quite a bit more yellow and vibrant. I've also seen promo shots of this figure, and they do have a little bit more of a yellowish saturated color tint. So it's a little bit off in that regard. It still looks great for this figure though. As far as posability, it works for what you need for this type of figure. Like I said, this is very much a display piece, but even with some slight shortcomings with joints in comparison to other Black Series figures, there's nothing missing for what this figure needs. He'll definitely turn at the waist, there's no double knee bend, and personally, I think the way the knee looks on figures with baggy pants looks kind of weird. There's no thigh twist, but instead it's hidden inside of the knee joint. The torso can tilt up and down a little bit, and no problem with head movement. It has a double neck type articulation which gets you an interesting range of motion. You can even do a Quagmire thing if you want. And man, the level of detail is great. I like the sculpted shirt collar. They even had a detail true to someone of this man's age where he's got a little bit of loose skin on his neck. As far as the arms, again, plastic cloth sculpting is somewhat compromised when it comes to long coats. He's got this huge sleeve, which again is hard plastic, so if you start bringing up his arm, cloth would naturally fall because of gravity, so the illusion does fall apart a little bit. There's no double elbow bend, and you can get about 90 degrees and that's about it. Again, I think this is more than adequate for this particular type of figure and how he needs to be posed. He's not going to be in dynamic hero poses like Mandalorians or Jedi or that kind of thing. As far as accessories for a realistic figure like this, I would count his trench coat as one of those. I'm pretty sure it's custom made and it isn't reused for any other figure. He has a nice looking little pistol with silver paint and white on the grip, and of course Luthen has a trigger finger, so it's super easy to get it into his hand. And as far as this thing, it's been a subject of debate online that apparently some people have gone as far as suggesting that it looks like a lightsaber hilt. So, of course Luthen must be a fallen Jedi, which is ridiculous on its face. It's a walking stick, y'all. At least in the case of this figure, there's no extension, but they made it a sort of a knife with a helix type blade. I'm not sure if it was ever shown in the show as a little stabby pokey type object, but there you have it. It's an interesting accessory. It bears reminding that Luthen Rael is a guy who runs a spy operation out of an antique shop, so he would have easy access to unusual items anyway. So how would I rate this figure? Quick recap, I rate these from 0 to 5 points in 5 categories for a potential of 25 points. I'm still working out the look and feel of this rating system, so what I'm showing today is essentially the temporary version. Luthen Rael is superbly detailed, although some coloring is a tad bit off and the hair color texture isn't quite right. His articulation is everything you need for this type of figure, but not in the same league as more action-oriented figures. What I appreciate about this figure is it's true to the character and doesn't lean into gimmicks just to sell toys, so accessories are modest but definitely appropriate. It's a great piece, really well built, and like I said before, a solid heavy chunk of plastic. And it's really accurate to the character, even though the coloring is a bit off and the wooden stick really should have been a walking stick accessory instead of a knife. I'll rate this figure 18 out of 25, and it is a great showpiece. So that's a look at Luthen Rael, or at least his figure from Season 1 of Andor. I hope we'll get more figures of this dude down the road. It remains to be seen what he's going to be doing in Season 2, but if they did a version of his antique dealer disguise where he's wearing a wig, I'd buy that in a heartbeat. Like I said, as far as interesting characters go, Luthen Rael ranks right up there with others like Han Solo, Ben Kenobi, or even Admiral Thrawn. As of now, with Season 2 right around the corner and the timing of this video release, his fate remains to be seen, but we're going to find out real soon. And congratulations to Stellan Skarsgard for bringing to life one of the most complicated, fascinating characters in all of Star Wars lore. Next up, I plan on doing an unboxing and review of the new Cassian Andor TIE Fighter pilot disguise. Very much looking forward to that one. And I'll look forward to talking with you guys again soon. Take care.